Young and restless Claire is facing an obstacle to her romance with Kyle more formidable than Victor. And she doesn't even know it. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, Soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. Claire is donning her battle gear to square off with her grandfather on Young and Restless, but it turns out he may be the least of her concerns when it comes to saving her relationship with Kyle. There's a looming obstacle that simply may be too formidable to overcome, and it's not even on her radar. This week's Young and Restless preview teases Claire appealing to Victoria for help. As viewers well know, the newest member of the Newman family is getting her first taste of her grandfather's penchant for meddling in the romantic affairs of his children and grandchildren, as Victor has declared his opposition to her romance with Kyle. Victoria, despite her extensive experience in this area, doesn't have clear-cut answers, given she and Cole just wrestled with the same issue recently. Cole, of course, was able to win Victor over by proving his mettle, not backing down, and allowing his former father-in-law to embrace the idea of their reunion on his own timetable. Claire, having witnessed this miracle, and with some encouragement from her grandmother Nikki, now thinks she merely has to persuade Victor to see that Kyle is good for her and all will be coming up roses. While that may be a possibility, there's another looming obstacle that she's totally unaware of, and one that may play right into Victor's hands. This obstacle we're speaking of is one that Claire won't see coming. Why? Because this particular impediment to her romance with Kyle absolutely adores her. Unfortunately for the former nanny, Harrison loves the idea of his parents getting back together even more than he does his dad's new girlfriend. The weekly preview told Soaps readers all they needed to know when it teased Harrison telling his parents he loved their family time together, and hoped they might hug again like they did on Halloween. The writing is on the wall here. Harrison's desire for his mom and dad to be together is going to prove to be a far bigger problem for Claire than even Victor. It goes without saying, if Victor gets wind of his great-grandson's wishes, he'll be more than happy to help him set a parent trap. After all, the mustache just welcomed Chelsea, of all people, back into the fold. This tells us that he believes couples should be together for the sake of their children, even if one of them framed the other for murder. If this is Victor's outlook, you can be sure he'll set aside his ideas about Newman steering clear of Abbott's to push Summer back toward Kyle, thereby killing two birds with one stone. 4 months, the Young and the Restless has been subtly planting seeds that Kyle Abbott's love life would soon take center stage again. After his roller coaster of heartbreak with Summer, flirtation with Audra, and an awkward flirtation with a couple of other Genoa City ladies, Kyle has been in search of something real. Something that reminds him of who he is outside of the Abbott family drama. Enter Claire Grace, a woman who has fought tooth and nail to reclaim her identity after her grandmother's twisted manipulation. Kyle and Claire's romance seemed like a fairy tale in the making. Both of them know what it's like to be underestimated, to be viewed as pawns in a bigger game. Their chemistry is undeniable, sweet, tentative, but simmering with potential. Jack is on board. Diane, surprisingly, hasn't tried to sabotage this budding romance. And Victor, who could have easily been the biggest roadblock considering Claire's past connection to his family, seems content to let her find her footing. But here's the twist. Victor Newman isn't Claire's biggest problem. The true obstacle to her happiness is lurking much closer to Kyle's heart, and this adversary may be capable of blowing up Kyle and Claire's relationship before it ever fully blossoms. The ghost of Summer. Yes, we're talking about Summer Newman. Summer may have gracefully handed Kyle his freedom after their marriage fell apart, but that doesn't mean her feelings have simply evaporated. The two share a child, Harrison, who is very much the glue that keeps them tied together day after day. And while Summer has been focused on her own journey, working at Marchetti, helping her mom Phyllis through yet another personal crisis, and attempting to carve out a new chapter for herself, her heart still has unfinished business with Kyle. Fans have noticed the lingering glances, the way Summer's jealousy flickers just slightly when Kyle brings Claire around. Summer may never admit it, but watching another woman step into Harrison's life as a potential stepmother is a bitter pill to swallow. And she's not the only one watching carefully. The Harrison factor. Kyle and Claire's relationship isn't just about the two of them. It's also about Harrison. The little boy has already gone through more turmoil than most kids his age, from losing his mother Tara Locke to being caught in the middle of his parents' breakup. Kyle has vowed to protect Harrison's stability at all costs. But here's where the drama brews. What if Harrison isn't ready for Claire? Claire has been making an effort to bond with Harrison, but it's a delicate dance. Children pick up on everything, and if Harrison senses that his parents still have unresolved feelings, he could resist Claire's presence. He might cling harder to Summer, inadvertently making Claire feel like an outsider. For Claire, who has worked so hard to be accepted by the Newman clan, the thought of being rejected by Kyle's son could be devastating. One of the most compelling aspects of Claire's character is her innocence. Or rather, her determination to hold on to her humanity after everything she's endured. She wants to believe in the good in people. She wants to trust that Kyle's heart is fully open to her. But she doesn't see the storm clouds gathering. Summer hasn't made any overt moves to sabotage Kyle and Claire, yet. But her feelings are written all over her face when she sees them together. She's already expressed hesitation about how quickly Kyle has moved on, and if she decides that Claire is a threat to Harrison's happiness, Summer won't stay quiet. And let's not forget, Phyllis is Summer's mother. If Summer so much as hints that she's uncomfortable with Claire, Phyllis will see it as her cue to go to war. And if anyone can be more formidable than Victor Newman, it's Phyllis Summers when she thinks her daughter is being wronged. Kyle's torn heart. The biggest question is whether Kyle is truly ready to give Claire the whole of his heart. He's been burned by love before, not just by Summer but by Lola Rosales, and even by Audra, who played him like a chess piece during their brief fling. Kyle craves stability, and Claire seems to offer that. But his connection to Summer runs deep, and as much as he may try to deny it, there's a chance he hasn't fully closed the door on what they had. If Summer were to confess that she still loves him, or worse, that she wants to try again for Harrison's sake, Kyle might hesitate. And hesitation is dangerous, because Claire has been through enough betrayal in her life. She may not be willing to stay in a relationship where she feels like the second choice. The brewing showdown. All signs point to an emotional showdown in the months ahead. Picture this. Claire, finally ready to take her romance with Kyle to the next level, plans a sweet evening with Harrison included, hoping to create a new family memory. Summer, meanwhile, has been wrestling with her feelings and shows up unexpectedly. Perhaps to drop off a toy, perhaps to check in. The tension between the two women is palpable. Kyle is caught in the middle, trying to keep the peace. Harrison senses the awkwardness and clings to Summer, leaving Claire heartbroken. The moment is small, quiet, but it sends Claire spiraling with doubt. It's not Victor's stern glare or Nikki's watchful eye that threatens to tear Kyle and Claire apart. It's the simple, undeniable truth that Kyle's past isn't as far behind him as he thought. What happens next? If The Young and the Restless plays this right, we could be heading toward one of the most layered love triangles in years. Claire represents Kyle's future, Summer represents his past, but Harrison ties them all together. Will Kyle fight for Claire, proving to her that he's ready to move forward no matter what? Or will Summer's quiet longing reignite old feelings and pull him back into a familiar, complicated love story? And how will Claire handle it if she realizes she's fighting not just for Kyle's heart, but for a place in his son's life? One thing is certain. Claire's biggest challenge isn't Victor Newman, Nikki, or even Diane. It's the complicated emotional web that connects Kyle, Summer, and Harrison. And if she doesn't see it soon, she may find herself heartbroken all over again.